Nope. Now you should be able to hear me. That's why we do a mic check. Check, check, quick sound check. Yep, I definitely was muted. Welcome everyone to At the Buzzer, our market recap. This is your first time here. The goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. It's our first time meeting. I'm Coach Jay, been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023. And Coach Paul just joined the green room. He is here. Bring Coach Paul in here. Let me know when you're good to go, Coach. Go. Let me bring in Coach Paul here. Check, check. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm scattered. Should I move my green screen closer?
Nope, you're good to go. You are good to go. We are live.
All right.
How are we doing today, Coach Paul?
Oh, I tried to buy, lost $50.
Nice.
Gave it back. I had a good day.
That is a good day. That is.
How'd you end up?
Ended up down on the day. Did try to buy as well. Trading earlier, took a short initially. Got a pretty decent trade out of that. Had some losses from gold last night. Kind of a mixed day. Ended up down on the day, but reads were right. Execution just has to be a little bit better. But let us know in the chat how you did today. Were you up on the day, down on the day? Anything that you learned from the day? Catch part of the short, the big short. Shout out to Michael Burry closing down the fund.
Yeah, he had a good day.
Something I noticed, Jay, for some reason, your mic is always quieter on the other streams you appear on. Is my mic quiet now?
It's quiet, but I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Let's see. Check, check. Is that better?
A little better.
My volume's all the way up.
It could be me. I'm an old man.
What's going on with this microphone? Best day on Topstep for Brad, up 3,100. Sounds good. I'll use my outside voice, everybody. I'll use my outside voice. But let's get into the markets. Big news, obviously. The big news of the day is that the government shutdown is over. The Senate voted for it yesterday. The House approved it. President signed off on it as well. So the government shutdown has come to an end. Again, the longest government shutdown in history. Longest government shutdown we've ever seen. It was 44 days, I believe. 44 days of the government shutdown has finally come to an end here. Outside of that, we had some crude oil inventories. We had a bunch of Fed speakers. We see the BLS. So now the big thing is, Coach Paul, government shutdown's over. When are we getting the data? We heard the White House say that we may not ever get some of the jobs data for October. And the BLS, which a lot of people thought we were going to get that CPI number today, just had some comments before the close. We will announce new release dates as they become available. It may take time to fully assess the situation and finalize dates. That is coming from the BLS. So some of that inflation data, they are planning on putting it out, but they need to have a game plan for what that looks like. And it sounds like they are still formalizing that game plan. Anything else you got on the news?
No, that's about it. I didn't see anything big that the data. Oh, well, not going to change my trading, but nothing else big on the news that I saw.
Nice. All right, good stuff. This might be one of the last days we have with just clean price action, right? We're going to get back to economic news and numbers and things like that coming out, and the market waiting for 10 a.m. Eastern for a release. So get it while the getting is good. We got some traders in the chat. Brad Sims, again, up 3,100. Cato says, we back in this beast. I learned to lock up once I'm up because I tend to lose it all. Good stuff. SJR trade made 10K on the NASDAQ short. Beautiful, beautiful trade. Short from the 680s. Took 3 trades today. This is Dreaded Daily. Took 3 trades today, and I waited for volume to leave the range each time, and I had a great day. Thank you for your daily germs. Thank you for your daily gems. Volume leads the way. You know, if you ask some people in the social media space, they might say that volume doesn't mean anything. But if you took 3 trades today and volume was a guiding factor in those trades, shout out to you. We just provide information here. You execute on the information. Great job. Uh,
That's awesome to hear.
Mo says lost 2 of my XFAs today, but managed to get 10K days on the other 2. Okay, there you go. Some balance there. And there we go. So good day overall. We already talked about the news, but let's take a look at the quote board today. To the downside, we had cattle down 2.84%, hogs down 3.04%, and micro Bitcoin future, our biggest percentage mover to the downside. It's starting to look scary over here in Bitcoin land, unless you're short. Micro Bitcoin down 3.17% for our biggest percentage mover to the downside, trading under and closing under that 100,000 level for the first time since a long time in the futures.
Since I had hair,
Yeah, closing
long
under
time.
100,000 for the first time since May 5th of 2025. So almost, what is that? 5 months?
Yeah.
So micro Bitcoin, biggest percentage mover to the downside. To the upside, we had natural gas up 1.21%, corn up 1.61%, and soybean meal, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, up 2.51%. Where's Ethereum? I don't know, I see micro Ethereum on here.
Did you lose it on your?
I might have taken it off. Hold on. Let me add that back there.
Be careful.
No, we can't lose the quote board. Okay, micro Ethereum was actually our biggest percentage mover to the downside, down 6.83%. Talk about our big four. We had crude oil up 0.31%, the S&P down 1.44%, gold down 0.75%, and the NASDAQ, our biggest percentage mover in our big four, down 1.82%. We changed it to a big five. We already talked about natural gas, though, up 1.21%. I am going to pull up a NASDAQ chart. Actually, let's go S&P. Actually, let's go NASDAQ.
Oh, let's go with Rusty then. If we're going
Let's
to
go
be
with
indecisive.
Is it a
Oh.
4-up day? What are we looking at here? This is the NASDAQ on the daily, Coach Paul. What are we seeing here?
To the 50 moving average. Can it hold here? Did have a nice little bounce off of it, but that's mostly short covering. To me, that's the line in the sand. I'm going to watch that tomorrow. Look, we're between today, the 20 and the 50. Although after today's action, out of no big news, that's technically where we should be, but I believe we'll pick up to the downside tomorrow if we close below the 50.
Honestly, I think the big news is more uncertainty. Government
Yeah.
shutdown's over. Great. When are we getting this data, and how
And
good
now
or
what?
bad? How good or bad is it? But from a technical perspective, and this is why we trade the technicals, we traded between the 20 and 50 moving averages. Let's take a look here. Give me 1 second. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Also, we're back inside the daily candle, the October tariff tantrum candle. We're back inside of it. Take a look at the overnight.
Yeah.
Actually, let's just do this. Go ahead, Coach Paul.
Well, that big candle last night came off of PPI news in Japan and the signing of the end of the
Shutdown.
shutdown. But look what happened. I mean, that was a big buy
Yeah.
or a big movement of buying. Not
Yep.
great volume following it, and it just stopped on a dime. Inside that candle from yesterday. What are we going to call that candle?
What was this one? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened yesterday. Selling candle from yesterday. But we rejected right around 50% of that. Like Coach Paul said, we did have that Japan PPI number that came out, end of the government shutdown, but no follow through, right? Big candle here. This is 150 points to the upside on lighter volume than normal because it's the overnight session, obviously. But this candle turned out to be a sell side J trade, right? Once we closed below that candle, we never traded above the high of it again. And that volume came in and just, you can see once we closed under that, that is urgency. Once we closed below that, we got urgency to the downside. Uh, it's a really nice move. We 200 moving average, volume cross below that. We have VWAP for the day, cross below it eventually as well. And we've talked about, the candle that tests the 200 moving average, anchoring VWAP to there and seeing the market's response, considering this 200 moving average an event. And price traded higher on the initial test, but volume never did. And this was just a liquidation type day.
Someone had a good question. Why VWAP that large candle if there's no volume? Well,
Good question.
let's VWAP it.
Hold on.
That large candle from last night
Yeah,
is, I believe, what you're talking. Let's do that.
great question. So relative to the rest of the day, it was low volume, but for that time frame, that was the highest volume 30-minute candle that we had. But yeah, we put a view up on it,
No, never left.
never left.
That's why. Now, if that would have, there would have needed to be buyers with, volume to push that higher. So with VWAP there staying in the range, that was just a reaction, a knee-jerk reaction buying that couldn't continue,
Yep.
which is a J trade on a sell side. But great question.
Great
Why
question.
we look at that as relative. So we have a big move, but there wasn't, like you said, it wasn't at the time. That was relatively high volume, and that was at night.
Yep.
But when we anchor that VWAP there, when we're looking, can it continue? And if not, where does it fail? And look at
Seems
it,
like
held till this,
held until it didn't.
right.
It
What's that
held.
white line?
That white line is the 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart. And it is a level that we bounced off of 3 days this week. How many times does somebody knock before you let them through the door? 1, 2, 3, 4. Eventually, you got to let them in. And the sellers finally took over. We can see volume below that 200 moving average. One of the things that we did earlier this week was that's been a great spot to buy because volume never traded below it. Again, volume never traded below it. And in this case, to start the week, volume at some point traded above it, which made it a support. But eventually, if that volume trades below, which it did today, we get, maybe we didn't assume this aggressive of selling, but then when you look back at that daily chart, that 50-day moving average, interesting spot here. These markets are got some work to do if we're going to make all-time highs. Again, anytime soon. Let's go down to a shorter time frame chart. Let's take a look at the 3-minute. Mariah says, today I watched the VWAP. Seems it was behind on slope. Is there a better setting to use, or what setting should it be at? We use the default setting. And again, one thing about VWAP is it's not going to stick to price. By nature of the calculation of VWAP, as we get more data, and if the heavy selling started up here, we may not see, we may either see price move too quick for VWAP to catch up, or volume. Look at the volume here, right? So when the volume is higher in the middle of the day, price stays closer to VWAP. Volume is lower here, so price is still moving lower, but most of the volume happened up here, right? If we look at a volume profile, we'll kind of see that as well. It did eventually move down, but a lot of the volume was up here until it moved lower. So, if you, and this is what we said yesterday, if you look at VWAP and say, hey, it's lagging, it's too far, you could use a moving average. You could use something like a 9 moving average to stay closer to price. But at some point, price is going to separate from VWAP, and you kind of want that if you're looking at a trend trade. Unless we're getting like a limit down day and they sell everything.
Someone had a question about where do you find the settings, or I guess there are no settings in VWAP on TopStep. Mm,
There are.
there are.
There
How do
are.
you get it? Right click on VWAP, inputs, and then you have all the choices. We go to the default. What is it? High, low, close divided by 3.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is this is set to divided by 4, but you're gonna see if I change this to 3, it doesn't change much.
Okay.
Doesn't really change anything at all. Um, One of the things you could do also is, and this might get your charts kind of noisy, but what if I anchor, like if I'm going short on a close below, I anchor again. Now that stays a little bit closer to price, right? You could do something like that. Brian Shannon in the book calls that the VWAP handoff. And it is kind of something I do throughout the day. But you could do that as well, right? On a close below, what happens to VWAP from there?
Yeah. Then
But
never-
what it is telling us is the trend for the day, and that is to the downside. Why do I have this box around this candle? That's the New York session open.
That's the
And we-
first 3 minutes.
First 3-minute candle. We got some urgency early. Wow.
Yeah, we did. Now, the half hour back up and mark that out. And remember we opened under the 200 on the half hour,
Mhm.
and we got urgency. That was the first tell.
Yep.
That there was going to be liquidation. That they had a high probability of liquidation. So wow, they weren't fooling around. I wonder if they listen to us.
Somebody's listening. Somebody is listening. I know that.
And if you are, hit that like button.
Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. We appreciate you all being here each and every day. We got 606 people watching right now, which I personally love because the markets are closed. So we can't even take a trade right now, but we can review what happened and prep us for tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in. Low of the day, pretty close to 25,000. 25,002 was the low of the day. 25,002 half was the low of the day in the NASDAQ. Then we saw a pretty nice bounce from there. Tomorrow, going into tomorrow, the question is, how does the market respond to this 50-day moving average, to 50% of this October 10th candle, if we get down there, which is 24,773? Or do we just pop right back up and trade back up to the 20-day moving average? It is going to be an interesting Friday for sure. Actually, going into Friday, why don't we take a look at the weekly candle really quick?
Yeah.
There's our weekly candle this week.
Is that a 3-bar reversal?
Kind of looks like it. Kind of looks like it. It does kind of look
Wow.
like it. Let's take a look at the S&P. Very similar on the weekly. On the daily, 50-day moving average, again, acting like a support for now. How many times do we test it before we close below it? If we do close below it at all, 67.44 is that price. What was the low of the day? 67.46.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Ray doing the opening call. He was looking for some targets down here earlier today. I can see why. 30-minute, very similar story. We got below all of the equities, and we've been talking about this a little bit. The Russell just got cooked today.
And now it
Wow.
bring
It's
the
using
data. Yeah, look what's about to cross.
the 20 and the 50. The Russell's the weakest of them all. So if you're looking for something in the short, the Russell might be it. Because it's using that 50-day, it used that 50-day moving average as a resistance when everything else used it as a support. The Russell was down 2.6% today, our biggest percentage mover in the equities. That is ugly. I think Jack was saying the Russell is flat since 2021.
Since 2021, since COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you zoom out, look at this. We're trading these same prices. That's pretty crazy there. Pretty crazy. And then one more look at the Dow that did just make all-time highs a couple days ago. Now using the Dow, maybe the strongest of them all, using the 20-day as a support. So really interesting stuff here. Anything else you got on the equities, Coach Paul?
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about that earlier today. The rotation's continuing. The Dow against the other indices. It's the stronger. It's a rotation into safety, which to me gives me it's a red flag for me that they're going to safety. Now we talked yesterday. It could be because it's towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, but how does it affect my daily trading? Oh, it's a level to watch. The 50-day moving average tomorrow, the 20 in the Dow. See if you get volume under it. That would be a first sign of liquidation by larger players. We're not seeing it yet, but that's why I look
We got
at
some
it.
questions in the chat. What session breaks are you using? This is just I think I just have this. I don't know that you can change it in TopstepX, but if you go to your chart settings, you can just go to session breaks. That shows you the start of the day. Right? So it makes it easier to find where the day started. Another question. What does it take for you to walk away when you're up? I know it's my biggest issue, but still do it. Today, for example, was up $400, then down 486. Had a micro gold runner to end the day negative $4. Uh, you know, at some point you got to decide when your work is done for the day, right? When you were up $400, were you trying to make more money, or were you taking good trade setups? If you're trying to make more money, take what you have, right? Ask yourself why $400 isn't good enough. If you see another setup and that setup then fails, then maybe you can start to think, hey, I'm not going to give back a percentage of what I made. Um, but nice job ending the day down $4, but a lot of work to lose $4 if you were already up 400. And then ask yourself that question. A lot of times, what happens is, Coach Paul, we were talking about this earlier. The opening range break trade. This is a mechanical trade that you can take day in and day out that usually lasts 30 minutes, 15 minutes. This could be your one trade of the day. This is a 200-point move in the NASDAQ. What happens sometimes is we think, well, that was 15 minutes. What the hell do I do with the rest of my time? I got an idea. I'll just trade more. And this is a very specific trade setup that you measured, and what you take after that may not be as measured. You're just looking at it as, if my charts are open, there's an opportunity to make money, right? So when you're continuing to trade after you made money, ask yourself whether the money you made was a result of a process and market conditions, or did you get lucky? And if it's a result based on process, then you understand that, hey, I'll be able to make more money when the process facilitates it again, right? Maybe coming back tomorrow for that same opening range trade. Coach Paul sounds staticky. What's going on? Oh, sounds like a robot.
Yeah, mine's still sounding like a robot.
Coach Hoop, let us know. Oh yeah, he did. Hold on one second. Let me fix that.
Okay. Checking.
No, hold on. Let's see here. All right, try it again.
Checking. Is that better?
Sounds better to me. Yep, it's
Good
good
now. Let's go on. I'm out of my robot stage.
There we go.
I want to add to that about it's sometimes if you had a day you go that was okay, you made money. Did you make money on a trading plan? Did you have a set process? And if not, you have to go back and check how you made that money. Was it so you can repeat it? But without a process, greed is right there. I'm up 400. Man, I want to be up. That was good. I want to be up 2,000.
Mhm.
Then you make an impulse trade. What I mean by impulse trade, it's not something that had a plan, or it wasn't planned. It's just like, this is going down. I'm going to sell even more, or for no reason at all, but you think it's going down. And then you sell more because you're up. So if you're trading, if you're a 2-lot micro trader, now you do 5.
Right.
Check that part, because how are you going to repeat a random process? To really make strides, you have to have a process that's repeatable. And I know when I didn't, when greed would come in, like, oh man, this is, and then I put more size on, it wouldn't fit what I was risking. My risk parameters were random. And the result is things like that. I took 400 and turned it to 0, or in my case, more than that. So review, journal. Okay, what was it? Was it did I have a trading plan that worked, and then I did an impulse trade and that took my money? Well, if I keep doing that and I understand that, I have less proclivity to take those trades, because at the end, you're here to learn. All right. So don't beat yourself up. Learn from that.
Yep.
All right.
Filibuster asked a question here. Do you ever place a weekly or daily VWAP on a lower time frame to see if the intraday price action is aligned with the bigger time frame? Yeah, absolutely. One of the things you can do with the VWAP indicator, and this is now the indicator, not the drawing tool, you can change the input to be, weekly. And there are definitely times where we use that, right? Look at the weekly VWAP today in the NASDAQ. Make this a bigger line. Kind of resistance, right? And then if we look at the day session compared to that, when we got below it, just like another moving average, right? We never really saw the daily get separated from that weekly. So you could use that for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else on the equities you got, Coach Paul?
No, there's actually one more question from JD 129.
Okay.
I made money today, but my process flashed 3 selling opportunities, but got scared I would lose my profits. I left 1,500 on the table. How do I deal with this? In the same manner. Why didn't you take those? You had your process, so you were afraid to give money back. 2 things. It goes back to a journal. I need to take that, and I'm willing to give back if it's part of my process, not a random trade. That will give you confidence to take those trades. But you remember, principles of successful traders: predefine the risk, accept it, or let it go. If that's the case, you didn't want to accept it, you did fine. Now you could take that and go, okay, and you know that now you can have some confidence that I'm going to take this, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to give some money back. But that's part of the plan.
Coach Paul, I got a question for you. Would you consider the thought that I don't want to give money back depleted mental capital?
That's good. Yeah. Well, that's a good question. The perspective, if you're new and you're learning, it might be just fear of giving money back. Like, yeah, fear crept in. Okay, note that and understand that. So I don't know how long you've been trading, but you're still in the learning process. Like, okay, this works. Each trade, I can't determine before I get in whether it's a winner or a loser. But over a series of trades, I need to take that. And then you build confidence. So I would say this: you're learning, you've got a great lesson. You can take okay, I can take trades as long as they're part of my trading plan, my setup, and I'm willing to give some back. Now, today was a four-bagger day, right? It
Yep,
went through every support, every 3 levels of support, the daily ATR. This is a rare day. So, you have to take that in your notes, take that into consideration because this this probably leaning on the last trade where you did it and you gave some back. That's where the fear is. As you go forward and get more experience and you journal, and then you can accept that. Okay, I'm going to take this trade knowing that when you accept that, then you can go to another level. But you're doing fine because here's why I tell you you're doing fine. You recognized it and you didn't push it because you weren't comfortable. Because you still don't know once you were in it whether you took some heat and said, "Oh fuck, I got to get out." So keep it up. This is where journaling becomes so really dynamic. You do it right and you do it for a time, you're going to see those decisions you made and you're going to find a pattern, good or bad.
absolutely. Uh, Heather, comment of the day. Hit the like button. Uh, I'm getting some questions. How do we draw this range box? This is just a fib tool. Using the drawing tools, is fib retracement 0, 0.5, and 1. Um, Alt F is the hotkey for it, and just drawing it that way. You could use a rectangle. You could use a line and just put 2 lines. You could put a circle. Say, hey, this is the high, this is the low. Draw it like this, right? Use whatever tool you want. It is just marking out those highs. Maybe I'm gonna start doing it this way. And this is the
No,
don't do that.
you won't. Be,
That
well, you could, but you wouldn't do it long because it's
right.
sloppy
It's
and
like what the hell is that?
it wouldn't work.
Like this is the opening range. Actually, that's not that bad. Take your time with it. There you go. That's the opening range. Uh,
I don't like it.
color outside the lines. You don't like it. All right, all right. All right, let's take a look at gold on the daily. Man, what a trade this was in gold today. Was anybody watching slow markets last night? Wasn't wrong. I was just early. 41.74 was my target to the downside in gold. And we pushed that target. We just didn't do it when I thought it would because we hit another target that we talked about yesterday. Gold on the daily. What are we looking at, Coach Paul?
Oh, that 50% of the candle. What candle? The reversal candle.
Yep.
The big sell-off. And boy, we stop on a dime. Was that you with a big offer to sell up there, Coach?
Man, I wish it was. I wish it was. I mean, we talked
Oh,
about it, and this is the first test of that 50%. And why are we marking that out? I'm gonna go back to April. Here's our turnaround candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections at that 50% before we broke out. Now we talked about this volume that we saw up here in gold being some of the highest volume we've seen ever in gold on a daily. And we're rejecting up here. Here's the first one. Now, when we saw this candle print, Coach Paul, thought process kind of went right back to this 3-month consolidation. Is this where we
yeah,
are, or do we close above? Yeah, go ahead.
very, very fractal.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. We've been talking about it. Even the moving averages, it's the same thing. I'm waiting for it to trade above it. But
Yeah.
interesting. It looked like it wanted to take off. Now my feeling is with that, I think the extension in the stocks created some profit taking in gold to pay for it on a portfolio level. Like it might just It might, but certain markets get affected by big equity swings. What do I mean by that? When an equity swing, it was larger than normal. That forces some margin in the hedge funds. So instead of coming up with more cash, they might lighten up on winning positions. Take some money from here, and that seems what happened because gold looked like it was going to go. But they watched you, Coach Jay. They saw that 50% level, and they said, "No, we're stop buying here."
Oh, no, no. Shout out to Matumbo or Wemby, I guess now. Like
Yeah,
Dolby said, that dude just blocks everything. Blocks
yeah.
everything. I was watching a
It's
video. They were breaking down the Spurs defense, and they were just like, the Spurs defense is actually terrible, but you have a 7'5" point guard, freak of nature that could just do anything. He just blocks everything. He is the
he,
50%
he's
retracement.
yeah. He's by the way, he's broke basketball. It's
I mean, he really
broken.
did. He really did.
You want to play against him?
Not at
I
all.
don't.
Not at all. All right. So that 50% rejection then brought us down to, why was I looking at 41.75? Don't remember. Oh, it was near the high of this high volume candle from yesterday. Right. This was the target. Where do we go? 50% of this candle plus a little bit. Right down to that. Who asked about the weekly VWAP? Here it is.
Mm.
And a nice bounce from there. So interesting day here. What am I going to do for tomorrow? Mark out this high volume candle and go from there.
They Chauncey had a comment here. It was good. Coach Paul, if you trade Globex, is there an initial balance for gold? Um, Really good question. Yeah, it would be with gold. The difference between that and U.S. equities, and perhaps soon we'll be trading some European equities, is that the U.S. equities, the largest volume begins at New York Open. All right, that's the important difference. Gold is 24/7, literally. The futures aren't, but that market's always open. So an initial balance is going to be it's not going to be as important in those kind of markets. You can look at the first hour and use that and see if you find success in it. We still look at the first half an hour on Globex and see if we get some urgency or start building from that. But action in gold can happen at any time because there is no solid opening range in the world. So look at the first hour, see if you see a pattern. We use the first half an hour and looking for some urgency. Great question. But that just to go back, the big difference is equities, U.S. equities. That first hour means a lot more because of the size of the trading that happens, where gold is always open. So you don't get an official opening.
Good answer there, Coach Paul. Should have put that trade on during slow markets and left it overnight. It happens. It happens. You know what? There's another opportunity to trade tonight. You are going to be at your charts. Execute your game plan. Silver made a new
So
all-time high and
let's
sold off.
go. Ooh, yeah. Looks just like gold, doesn't it? I mean,
Yes, it does.
actually, I think it's actually leading it a little bit.
It is. It seems like
Oh,
it is.
it doesn't have a big candle to go against.
No,
Wow.
but a nice rejection up there at those highs after making that all-time high. Take a look at last night's session. Very similar to the gold trade. We pushed up, volume stopped moving up at some point, and we turned around. Really nice trade there in silver. And in these metals, I'd probably be looking at going into tomorrow, mapping out some of these high volume candles, seeing how the market responds to those.
Well, yeah, silver, it seems to got at that time towards its close. See, that's another sign of other markets being affected by a big move in equity, in my opinion. Here, just get out some silver instead of raising cash.
Mm, interesting. Interesting. I just read
I
that
give that to
too.
you.
No, no, 95 likes. If we can't hit the thumbs up button, I think we set the like goal at 300. We got 577 people watching. Will we ever see Coach Paul pivots on the on Topstep TV and on at the buzzer? The world may never know. Um, and more than the pivots, it's the strategy on trading it. But we'll see. We'll see. Can we get those likes up? We appreciate you all being here either way.
I'm
Hopefully, the
leaning
information that
towards yes, but
leaning towards yes.
I'm
You want to share
leaning
'em?
towards yes.
Let's do
But
it.
I like to see more likes,
Get it done
not for me, but for us,
for the pivots.
for the for the pivots.
Uh, all right. Take a look at oil and then
19, is that all we have?
no, we're at 105. Gotta refresh.
105. Oh,
Gotta
we're
refresh.
getting there.
Take a look here at the daily chart in crude oil, and then we'll take a look at natural gas also. I think natural gas is probably the more interesting one. Anything you want to say here about oil?
Yeah, one thing we had the little follow through. Um, but look at that range. There was no interest. That was
Natural gas
what
had all the
tiny.
interest.
Yeah. What is it's still downtrend, but I don't want to beat up crude. The moment I start beating up crude, it's gonna be a
It's gonna
huge
move.
move.
Yep.
But
We
let's
did.
look at the day's action. We talked yesterday that big down day, and we had a nice little pop. It was probably we talked that it's probably just buy it on the opening,
Yep.
which I don't
Did say
just
that.
buy anything.
No.
Um, but it's a dead cat bounce. I'm sorry, a dead gnat bounce. I have nothing against cats. I've had cats all my life. I don't have any more pets right now. I'm too soft. I can't bear them dying anymore. But no one likes gnats. Is there anybody out that was a gnat fan?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't think so.
dead net bounce. Look at that. It was basically one candle most of the move. Still not a sign of a bottom.
Yep. SJR Trade says, thanks, Coach Paul, for all your knowledge. I was in your VIP group last February. I just want to thank you because I'm seeing a lot of good progress. Thanks, my man. Shout out to you, Coach Paul, and to you, SJR Trade.
Yeah, SDR trade. Sky's crazy. It was worked hard. You know, I don't know, but at your VIP group, I find that people that work the hardest, steady through the whole, really learn the lessons.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that. Keep it up. You probably want one of the things I like to do is learn the difference where you start struggling and then struggling well. When you start struggling well, you're learning and you get better. So that's great to hear.
Awesome stuff. CFT was a profiteer also. Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to CFT. Was on that live funded trader leaderboard today. Saw you, CFT. You said it yesterday as well. Said it during slow markets. You said you guys may see me on that leaderboard tomorrow. We're short the Nasdaq. Shout out to you. Nice trade.
Great to see. Wow.
Absolutely.
Makes my day.
Absolutely. Natural gas. Natural gas. What are we looking at here?
Oh, we're fiddling with the 200, the white line.
Yep. Finally hit it. We've been talking about it for what, 2 weeks? Nice trade by you today, Coach Paul, in natural gas. You had that long in natural gas that we talked about. I took a little piece of it, but nice move here in natural gas up. It was a 5.5%, 5.25% move high to low.
It doesn't even look like it did that, does
No,
it?
it didn't.
When you say that part, that wow. But it's been trading nice. This has been quite a move. And I want to give Coach Hoop a shout out. He's been on this natural gas move for a couple
He has
weeks
been.
now.
Yes, he has been. What did we see in natural gas today? So we've been talking about this 200 moving average. We've tested it a couple times this week. Kind of looks like the Nasdaq did, right? Every time we came down and tested that 200 moving average, volume stopped trading below it, and we bounced up. But in this case, price stopped trading below it, right? And in this general area has been a decent spot to look for longs really all week. There's your weekly VWAP again. Who asked about that one? That was Filibuster. There's your weekly VWAP. Came down, didn't tag it. Might start leaving that on my charts again. We'll see. But actually, no, we're not halfway through the month yet. But really nice trade here. Really nice trade here. That 200 daily moving average was, initially a target we've been talking about all week. We finally got up there today. And the volume for the day kind of stopped up there. But what now, Coach Paul? In natural gas, what now?
Well, we don't. We go to it tomorrow. Really, and look. To me, I'm looking for a place, some sign, some structure to buy it. It can go down without me. But today, what we got down to what? Close to 200.
Close enough.
But using the volume profile, we found it. The point of control went to those lows. Look at that, and right at those lows with no volume, you had value there. It's above the 200. I waited for the 7:30 opening for me, and we got through that high. I just bought one with confidence that I know was gonna. I looked for a 2-to-1 trade. I got it. That's all. I could have gone down. And it goes back to our discussion earlier. The reason I'm comfortable with know the price, predefine the risk, and I'm not trading the big one. I'm just trading the mini.
Yeah.
So that was a pre-planned trade. I might want to stop using good trade, bad trade,
Yeah.
because I also want to, and what I want traders to know, there's going to be days in the red, and some back to CFT, best loser wins, which I highly, read that book, because if you could have a really good trade and lose money.
Yep.
And you traded well because you cut that loss. You took the risk. And so I think that sometimes in our mind, we try to avoid being red. There's no avoiding it. I'm just going to take the good trades. Okay, if you can do that, I don't think it's possible. But knowing this, get away. I want to highly suggest get away from being red or green, and get into the mental state of I'm taking good risk.
Yep. Absolutely. Good stuff, Coach Paul. I do have a dinner reservation I need to get to, so I do need to leave in a couple minutes. Coach Paul, do you have
Okay.
anything else that you want to talk about? Any other markets you want to talk about?
And but let's take one peek at euro currency. Where did that come from?
We haven't heard that. We haven't heard about that in a little while.
Yeah,
What's going on over here?
Well, we did talk about it last week. We were
did.
down by the daily 200. We had a nice we're bouncing nice from there. But today's trade was a nice. We're above the 20 moving average, moving up. We're above a down. I don't even have to put the trend that we broke that today and closed above it. It's getting some momentum to the upside. And a half hour, we had it kind of looked like the natural gas. That structure, whether it's natural gas or euro currency, it's the structure that I really want to look at and execute on. But it's turning around nicely.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Take a look at the 30 today. Kind of looks like the natural gas chart. Came down and took a look. Came down and took a look at that 200 moving average, but it popped up from there.
Yeah, and if we do once look at that. Now put the volume profile.
Let's do.
There we go. I call that a compression trade. We broke, right? We took that volume profile, and it's early in the day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's above the 200. I don't want to get short there. Okay. Now, when it gets back above that volume profile, attach a VWAP.
Back above the volume profile, we're right here.
Yep. The first time. Now, I would, to me, I'm looking for a place to lean on because we had selling. Oh, that was it. We had a J trade. End of day. That's all. We had a J trade there. That was it with the volume profile and just a rocket.
There's trade there. Bunch of opportunities in a bunch of different markets. I think what I take from this every day that we do this is that there is an opportunity somewhere in a market, and even if you don't use the same technical approach that we do, you can apply it to whatever market is moving. Our job as traders is to execute, continue to execute, and get paid for execution. I got to remind myself of that as much as I remind everybody else. We're all playing the same game. So develop a process, execute your process, trust yourself to make the right decisions day in and day out. And that is what we get paid for as traders here. So I got nothing else. Coach Paul, you got anything else you want to say before we
Well
go?
said, Coach. We can end on that.
Let's get out of here. Trade well,
All right.
everybody. Manage your risk. Coach Hoop, I believe, is doing his class in Discord at 5 p.m. Central Time. Then we have Coach Ray and Coach Vince, 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central. Dakota with slow markets tonight at 7:30. Baron will be joining him. And we got Aaron with the London Open, 1:30 a.m. Central Time. No Euro trade with Deanna tomorrow because tomorrow is Friday. Enjoy your Fridays, everybody. We may see if we do. I'm going to pick up a dog tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
okay. Another one.
An English bulldog. An English bulldog. So we may. I'll let you know if I leave in time. I got to drive down to North Carolina, so maybe
wow.
I should fly since the FAA is government
It's
shutdown.
safe again.
Yeah, but I literally didn't buy a plane ticket because I'm like I don't want to get stuck in the airport. So I'm driving down to North Carolina tomorrow. I'll let you know.
All right. Well, what's the name of the dog?
Obi is his name.
All right. Well, welcome. You'll have to show him.
I'll bring him on stream next week.
All right, great.
Right, everyone. Thank you for joining. Talk to you all soon. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. We are getting closer and closer to the pivot point like goal. We're about halfway there. 539 watching, 130 hitting that thumbs up button. So we appreciate you all being here. Check out Coach Hoop in Discord in just a little bit. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.